Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bensday with Batgirl and Ben. It's been a little bit due to my surgery. And Ben, what happened to your computer?
I had a small repeated computer explosion, but everything's okay now. Everything's all right. How are you?
I'm doing great. Computer explosion? Like, was there
Uh,
fire and blue smoke and stuff coming out of it?
no, just I was getting a hard crash every time I booted up Windows. And
Was Star Citizen running in the background?
no, and actually, this computer's never run Star Citizen.
Yeah.
Uh,
How'd you get your work done?
I had an Apple Mac laptop that I used for several days.
Oh.
No, it all turned out okay.
What'd you get?
It wouldn't have been an issue at all, except our IT guy happened to have gone on his first vacation in years the day it happened.
And a building filled with computer nerds. No one could figure it out.
Yep.
That's good. That's good.
I think everybody looked at it and go, oh, yeah, you got a bad processor, or you got a bad stick of RAM. Bye.
Well, that's good.
All better now.
Yeah. Oh, at least you had something to do your work on.
Oh, yeah.
Good. A lot's gone on since we talked. You completed the sale of the Prospector. You put the wonderful little motorbike on.
Yeah, the Dragonfly.
Yeah, I actually held something for this, but I put it too far away, so I have to grab for it. And the Dragonfly is a flying motorcycle, right?
It is.
Pretty cool. So in this week's issue of The Economist, do you see what it says up over there? Flying motorcycles.
Ooh, motorcycles that fly.
Yeah, you see that? So I'm wondering if you guys have Dragonflies that are going for sale in Europe that we don't know about.
Not to the best of my knowledge. Although my brother worked for a company that had built a flying motorcycle once. And
Did the test pilot live?
he did. He rode on the flying motorcycle. So
Oh, he did?
yeah.
He rode on the flying motorcycle.
yes.
Okay, that must have been an experience that was hair-raising.
Yes. Imagine so.
So,
I haven't done anything cool like that for myself.
okay. So, this fast track that you talk about with the Dragonfly.
Yes. So
What?
we've got it in there. While you're gray boxed already. We wanted to do a little bit of experimentation with how it actually moves in space and on the planets. We've done that. So.
So, couple months.
Hope so.
Hope so.
I don't like to give dates, but hopefully.
Yep. Oh, we got Sandi coming in. Let's answer this.
Okay.
All right. Well, folks, Ben and I tried to get Sandi in, and that didn't work. So we're just going to go on alone, and Sandi and I are going to do an Ask Sandi later in the week. Sorry for the confusion. It just happens. So, Ben, back to the Dragonfly. Your
Right,
brother actually
Dennis
wrote...
Tales is essential.
What? Okay. Your brother actually rode on a flying motorcycle.
Yes, he had and he tells this story much better than I do, but he had a summer job, like cleaning a house for some lady, and it turned out she was connected to a man who had built a flying motorcycle, and they went away for the weekend and it was a whole ridiculous thing that I don't quite understand myself. But
So how much did that experience have to do with creating the Dragonfly?
Not at all. Not at all. I think the biggest thing that went into the Dragonfly was hacking. I think I talked about this probably on RTV or something. Hacking Privateer 2 to pilot the little man character. Because there were these. This was the first big game where there were like men floating around in space, and you could target them. But they behaved just like a ship. It was a static man with was holding a gun like this, and it acted just like a little ship that traveled at 50 kilometers per second and had one laser. And I remember it was terrible to play. You couldn't play the game with it because anything you targeted would just kill you instantly. Except I learned that it was really good for attacking capital ships because the man's bounding box was so small that when the various like corvettes with their big not corvettes, it was in Privateer 2 shuttles, the pirate shuttles with their big twin turrets would aim at you, and your guy would be right between the balls. So he was like a secret way to kill those stupid capital ships.
Oh wow! So are we gonna have like any kind of exploits like that in Star Citizen that we find out?
I am absolutely sure. I mean, the history of gaming is, it's a great counterintelligence type thing. People will be finding exploits until the end of the world, and we'll be patching them.
Okay, so can you confirm or deny that there are Easter eggs in the game at this point?
You can find Easter eggs in our first trailer there.
Okay, all right. That's cool. I like that. So Dragonfly, 2 colors is. I'm sure you answered these on the Reverse-Averse, but is yellow around for good, or is it really a special color?
No, yellow is special color. It was limited just to the concept sale. So next time we offer them, it'll just be the black.
So,
just the base production.
So if people really want that yellow one, they should buy as many as they want before the sale is over.
Well, the sale's over now, so.
Oh, you poor guys. Poor people. I'm sorry. I thought it was going to go 2 weeks like the last one. Actually, it probably did, right? I had the whole... I lost a week from surgery.
Yeah. But no, yeah. I don't know what that was.
I looked at one of the packages and I said, you know what? Having a caterpillar and 2 of these was much more value than having a Vanguard. Were there a lot of melts for this one like there was for the Prospector? A lot of
Yeah, we find a lot of melts with every sale now, which is cool. Especially, I mean, this one was big because you immediately get it. You know how much fun this is going to be. So we had a whole lot of people who bought them. I'm sure there are people buying LTI tokens too. But at the very least, when we know we're going to do something like that, at least let's do a ship we're proud of, and we definitely pull that off here.
It's good. I mean, the way I see it is that I'll be in my cat and I could send my 2 sons out in the Dragonflies to go do some havoc on somebody.
Yeah.
I wonder, I mean, 2 M3As are not bad weapons. I mean, for taking out fighters, so that should be a good ship. So
it'll be a good little training ship.
So the Caterpillar looks absolutely amazing.
That looks so good.
Yeah, and did you see a lot of people burning other ships in that class to get the Caterpillar? Like I did the Vanguard. You would see freelancers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw a bunch of Starfarers.
Yeah.
And I kind of expect that'll happen again once we actually have it to explore.
Yeah, I can't wait. It doesn't look that far off. What are we talking, like Gamescom, maybe a little bit after?
Can't say.
You're worse than when people ask me about the iPhone 7. Can't say. Which I can't. All right, so we have our first question. How far along is the mining bot? And will it be up for sale so we can do bot wars? And that's from Pappy Boyington.
Somebody asked about this recently. I think it's pretty much done from a functional standpoint. It's just, it's designed for Squadron. It's entirely possible we'll bring it back, if not to sell, just at least to play with. But it wouldn't be anytime soon.
Okay. Now that we see that the Dragonflies will be taking part in racing, will there be special racing events set up in AC for them?
Yes. The lore guys have already come up with this open cockpit racing, they called it. So there's going to be a whole racing league that's specific to the Dragonfly.
Okay. Will we see a concept sale for a heavy fighter, not the F8, but something that might be in that class?
Maybe.
You don't have one yet.
We've got some military ships coming up, but I can't say more than that.
Oh, I hate you. Oh, more money. And any news on Seda Ball?
No. I know they're looking at. I know they're looking back at some FPS stuff that will be in the not too distant future, but I don't believe it includes Seda Ball.
All right, so from Firelance, besides planetary exploration, what kind of roles are envisioned for ground vehicles, especially on populated worlds? For example, could I use my Dragonfly or the Lynx that comes with the Constellation Phoenix to travel between cities on Terra? Would I have to drive them manually on populated world, or would they basically function as a privately owned alternative to public transportation?
Yeah, essentially the alternative to public transportation. One thing folks will find as we start to explore procedural planets is that planets are really, really, really big. So it's good to have a space motorcycle or a rover to travel around them. I mean, you look at like Mass Effect with the Mako, and that's that's a couple square miles of a planet, and that
Right.
seems like a giant world. So as we build entire planets, you're going to appreciate way to travel around them.
Okay, and you're saying they're going to be really, really big. That means that you're going to be coming in contact with a lot of the different local indigenous creatures, right? Blah, blah, blah. So, wouldn't like a lynx offer more? I gotta get that cat off my lap. Sorry. Wouldn't a lynx offer me more protection?
Hi there.
Yeah, that's Batcat. Wouldn't it offer me more protection than, say, a dragonfly? Like, is there going to be that mechanic in there that if I'm on a dragonfly, I might be shot easier than if I'm on a enclosed vehicle? Okay.
Absolutely, and you're also going to travel faster and be more maneuverable and be able to get into smaller spaces than a lynx would.
Okay.
So it's always a trade-off.
Okay.
There'll never be one this is the best space car.
Yeah, that was a question about mechanics. So you're talking about mechanics there, and that's pretty cool that you're going to have that mechanic in the game. Can I say mechanic again? No. So Aaron Azumin, being able to go planetside is a huge feature of Star Citizen, and the motorcycle is awesome. Ben, have you considered offering a larger selection of land or water-based vehicles that we could pledge for? That's a good question because there is a water world in one of the systems, right? We have all of these amazing ships for Journey. Could we get more vehicles to use at our destinations?
Yes, long term, absolutely. We want all sorts of cars and trucks and buses and so on. Not necessarily as concept sales that fund the game, but more because we need them in the game. But we've got the Gray Cat, the Gray Cat, the bike right now. We're working on I think there's 2 or 3 rovers. One of which is we put together right now. And the sky's the limit for vehicles. I don't know if you've seen the giant Terra wall art we have in our commissary, but I was looking closely at it, and you can see we've got all sorts of little concepts of boats parked in the harbors. I'm sure we'll get to that stuff eventually.
Cool. Well, we're going to have to because there is a water world that exists in one of the systems.
Yes.
I remember that from when I was doing the lore of the different star systems. He has another question, and I know we've heard this question before. Since there won't be any comma rays around remote planets, what would prevent me from going on an alien safari hunt? In other words, he's not talking about killing alien animals. He's talking about killing aliens.
What prevents anyone from suddenly going and committing murder? Just
Yeah.
societal forces.
Getting caught, right?
That's the threat of getting caught. And just because you aren't being caught immediately doesn't mean you won't be caught in the long run when you show up to have your Jean's heads stopped for your wall. That's the kind of thing that gets out. I don't think there's such a thing as a perfect crime in that sense.
All right. So, there'll be a lot of things in the game that lets you... There'll be a lot of things in the game that has the population in the game, the player-run community managing a lot of that, right?
Yeah.
Creating bounties. Maybe somebody else is on that planet and they find you.
It's the old infantry falls in the forest.
Okay.
Making sound.
Are you planning on selling the modules for the Caterpillar like you did for the Retaliator?
Possibly. I'm waiting to see how exactly they turn out. So we'll make a call on that once the base ship hits.
Okay. So one of them's just going to be a hangar filled with dragonflies, right?
I think they're theorizing you can fit 3 dragonflies in one run. Whether that means you can fill every run with 3 dragonflies is TBD.
Okay.
So there's got to be a hard limit somewhere.
Yeah, I guess so. You can't have 30 dragonflies coming out of one caterpillar. Though that would that would be
everybody
epic.
in this instance is part of the same character.
That would be epic. All right, so this is still from Aaron, and I have 2 different Aarons. That last question was from Aaron Meisman. This is back to Aaron Izumin. In the Caterpillar and Dragonfly pack, it states, "This special package includes both versions of the Dragonfly, Yellow, Launch Edition, and Black Production, and a Drake Caterpillar transport platform." Does this mean that the Caterpillar in this pack has the hanger module for the Dragonflies?
So it's not a special module. It's just the standard cargo one is the one that can carry the Dragonflies. It's the same Caterpillar as before. There's not a particular launcher. One of the unique things about the Caterpillar is how the front and the sides open of the different modules, basically allowing you to do that.
Well, that's pretty awesome. The Dragonfly lands planet side, right?
Yes.
It's not...
Oh, wait, no. The Dragonfly does not land planet side. It needs something to carry it.
All right, so... Or it just jumps out of the back of a Freelancer or whatever else as a Freelancer is hovering over the ground. Okay, that makes sense. So would this mean that because it kind of flies above the ground, could it fly over water and stuff?
Yes.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Our friend Dr. Jeffrey is trying to send me a message about what he just got, so that's why I keep having these dings. You met Jeffrey this weekend, right?
Yeah, he was here. I met him a bunch of times, but he was here on Friday. And he's a good guy. He's a really good guy.
All right, you recently said something about showing off the female model. Is that still a go for soon?
Yes. Hopefully, very, very soon.
Yeah. Does that mean it's going? Does that mean it's like a 25, 26 thing, or does that just mean that you're going to preview to us?
We're going to show it off in videos first. I don't know about which patch it'll actually go into.
Okay. We should be coming up on 3.0 soon, right? So...
well, I think Chris walked everybody through it in the last term for the chairman. We're going to do 2.5 and 2.6, which are a little bit more content patches. 2.7 is our big... our next big patch.
All right, so 2 short ones and then a nice big one. Okay, that's good. All right, locking down stackable cargo. I have all these. After watching the latest ship, it seems like stackable... Where? Okay, here it is. After watching the latest ship shape on the Caterpillar, it seems like stackable cargo can be locked down. I remember hearing that stacked cargo could not be locked down, though, and wanted clarification. Ships like the Constellation and Starfarer would also have a lot of wasted interior space in the cargo hold if stacked cargo couldn't be locked down.
You can lock stacked cargo down.
Yeah, I think that in the beginning they said no because they were talking about force fields and stuff holding it in place.
Okay.
That was long ago, but I think that somewhere along the line it changed as they were fleshing out the ships in white box and gray box, right?
Yeah, no, it wouldn't make sense for you not to be able to stack up all your cargo boxes.
Yeah, inertial dampeners inside the actual cargo. That would be weird. All right, well, I got through most of those questions, and I'm going to ask just a couple of more about certain things that have been going on in the universe. Right now, it seems like there's a lot of back-end stability issues that have been corrected little by little over time. This seems to happen every time there's a major patch, and that's not unheard of, right? That's why we're in alpha, right? So we figure these things out. What type of things go through the office when you release a patch and all of a sudden everybody's on it and you realize that these things are going on? Do you work on it through the weekend?
We do, and I shouldn't be the one who takes any credit for that because it's not me. It's our incredible DevOps people and QA, and they definitely work through the weekend, especially when we patch. They are, even if they are not technically at work, they are following every single moment to make sure it all works. They are relentless. Just good people.
Okay. And at some point, you're getting closer and closer to there being more content added into the game. Do you have a team, like you used to have somebody there that was going to do live, do the live server kind of content? Are you now starting to think about having that type of role again to keep it interesting for people to do? Because right now the same missions over and over again are fun.
Excuse me.
But I think the more people get to use the PU, the better you guys will be able to flesh out different things that are out there. Are you coming up with more interesting ways to make that happen?
Yes and no. It's important to strike a balance with kind of the resources we put towards maintaining the live game when it's not really a live game yet.
You don't play it that much, do you?
I know.
It is actually a live game, Ben. It's not a finished game by far. By far.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the difference between, doing throwaway missions and things just to keep it exciting as like a marketing thing versus actually building out the game to get to the end point we want. So we try to balance those things, and I think you will see a bunch more kind of content to entertain folks coming to Crusader as we head towards 2.7.
Okay.
But it'll always be...
Which adds next? No, sorry. I could only guess it's going to add Nyx because that's the obvious next step, but No,
you need to watch last Over the Chairman. Okay. There's some details for you there.
Okay, and that was a week ago today when I was like in La La Land. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go back and I'll rewatch Chris's return to 10 for the Chairman and see what he has to say. Usually I get a brief description of what goes on, but Jeffrey was too busy hanging out with you last week. Yeah, so that's pretty good. I'm kind of hoping for more content because the way I look at it, the more people that use the PU, the more likely we are to find bugs and flaws in the programming so you guys could fix it so when Squadron 42 comes out, that's done. And then we could have the PU very quickly afterwards. Otherwise, you're going to have to go through this twice,
The Squadron's a little bit different because it's, a lot of the stuff we need to get working for Star Citizen or Universe don't matter that much for Squadron. All this work we have to do on the back end and increase the number of players, that doesn't really matter so much in a single or a two-player campaign. So it's a balance.
It's a balance. Okay. All right. Well, you would think that we would have a lot more questions today. We don't because there have been a couple of really great, like you said, 10 for the Chairman, Reverse the Verse, Around the Verse the last couple of weeks has been bringing more and more information out. And it was also because we had pulled away from the show for a couple of weeks as I recovered from my surgery and you had a computer blow up. So, folks, I asked Ben... And I'm going to say, Ben, you can mute me and we can cut this out. Could we give away dragonflies?
Sure. Give away a couple of dragonflies.
Yeah, I want to give away dragonflies to thank you all for hitting 3,000 viewers. And it's going to be very, very, very simple, okay? All you have to do is comment in this video. And somewhere in there, you have to put hashtag I'm a Star Citizen. If it's in there, I will enter you in, and then I'll send Ben the information. I bet you I have to resend the information on the gentleman that won the Starfarer.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm sure I do, because Euros is probably going, I didn't get my Starfarer yet. And I'm like, well, it hasn't been a year and a half yet, so, you got some time. So, I'll get you his information, too. Okay. So, folks, I'll pick them on next week's show. This will be a week, so just comment in it. We also have a show coming up with... Sandi, so let's just talk real quick about how to get your questions in. You got two ways. Either put them in the comment section below, which is simple, or send them to me if you don't want anybody else to see it and you just want me to read it and then change it a little bit. Some people do that. You can send it to starcitizenaa@gmail.com. For Ben, put Bensday in the subject field, and for Sandi, put Ask Sandi in the subject field. I'll be talking to Sandi over the next 2 days, and remember, she's Director of Marketing, so keep your questions in that frame. You could ask about things like the box sets that she's making for us, and if it's merchandising stuff, we could always get the wonderful and always overly happy Alexis on here to talk to us about merchandise. And that's all I got for you. All right, Ben, thanks for joining me, and I hope you.
Anytime.
I hope you have everything worked out with your computer and you get back to giving us as many ships as you can.
Yep, seems to be working well now.
Good.
Back online.
All right, folks, with that said, you all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.